Good afternoon, everyone. So I'll be talking to us on a topic today is, from average to exceptional, and that's the habit of high performers. So that's what we'll be talking about for the next about 40 or 40 minutes. Okay, so let's start out with a few. So my name is Osa Olomu. I think I spoke to some of you on the your first day. So I'm one of the co-founders at Cedars. Okay, so let's ask and get some thoughts. Okay, so um, what's average, what's exceptional? Because the first thing we want to talk about is understanding the difference between average and exceptional. So let's have some takers across the room. What's average and what is exceptional? Yeah, I'll point at people who, based on the color of your shirt or so let's start with average. What does average mean to you? I like some interaction. So let me just hear from anybody. What does average mean to you? As in when you hear the word average, what does that? Yeah, so let someone go. Come on, quickly. We don't have a lot of time. Someone you have the okay, I see one hand up. Okay, so let's hear you, ma'am. So what does
I,
average mean to you?
I think average is in between. You're not at the lower tier, you're not at the upper tier, you're in between, at the
Mm,
center. Then exceptional is you are at the peak of
okay.
whatever it is.
Okay, so average just in between. Yeah, just there, sha. While exceptional is aiming for the peak. Okay, is there any addition? Does anybody have anything, extra you would like to add? Okay, I see the lady at the back with the head band. Okay, so let's hear what you want with the head tie.
I feel average, just normal, nothing special about it. But
Normal, nothing
exceptional,
special.
yes,
Okay,
special. While
okay,
exceptional, extraordinary, aside from
extra.
the normal.
Okay, extraordinary. I like that word. Okay, let me hear from one guy. If not, it's only the ladies in this class that are speaking. So, men, oh yeah, redeem ourselves now. So, can I hear from one of them? You say?
So,
Okay.
let,
All right, let's
let,
hear you.
let me speak for the men.
Bail them out, please. Bail them out.
Okay, average is ordinary, while exceptional is far beyond ordinary.
Hmm. Okay, Sha, just use small sense, Sha. Yeah. But that's okay. Thanks. Don't worry, man. We know they carry last, definitely. Okay, so there's a lot of difference between average and exceptional. Um, Sometimes between, poor and average, the gap is not so much usually. But from average to exceptional, you find out that that gap is a lot. So sometimes we think average is in the middle, but the truth is, average is not really in the middle. Average is what most people out there are doing. So it's not even really in the middle. Average is actually below the middle, and that's usually what a lot of people settle for. That is what we call comfort zone. You don't have to put in so much effort and all of that, and you're at average. I think the question would be how many people in the room want to be exceptional, which is what high performers are, identified for. So anybody in the room who wants to be exceptional. Okay, nobody in this room wants to be exceptional. Okay, some people are thinking about it. So all of you with your hands down, it means you want to be average. Oh yeah, the people who want to be average, let me see your hand. Be bold about it because you didn't raise your hand for exceptional. You can't be in between. Okay. So if you are not gaining, you are not pushing to be exceptional, you will end up being, average or less than average. And average is crowded. That is where everybody is. And I think over the next few slides, we'll talk about a few things that will explain what the difference is between average and exceptional. And there's a lot of difference. Okay. So, what I want to do, I'm sorry, just 1 minute before I go on to my next slide. So, what I want to do is to is to really talk about. Now, the thing is, people that are exceptional are people that stand out. And exceptional is not necessarily about what you do, it's about how you do what you do. And that's why in every field in life, you would always find exceptional people. You have people who are into graphics design. I know one graphic designer that is exceptional. And that guy today is exceptional. And he's a graphic designer. He's built an office, he employs people, he's doing so many things. But a lot of people started graphics design like him. There are people that do software development. Some are, so everything you do in life, and it's not just about technology. Even if you talk about people who are selling granite, you can be exceptional at that level in selling granite. Because you can make it, and do it with a difference. Exceptional speaks about standing out. And it's always going to be deliberate and intentional for you to be exceptional. So the first thing as an individual is you need to make up your mind where you want to be. Do you want to be average or do you want to be exceptional? Yeah, but if you will be exceptional, there are things you will do because it's not commonplace, right? So let's what I'll do is I will focus on, for today on 5 habits of people who really, really want to be exceptional. Because except being exceptional and being a high performer, remember today we are talking of from average to exceptional, the habits of high performers, and that is the habits of people that are exceptional. Now I'm going to just talk about 5 habits. Of course, there are much more than 5 habits that you really need, but I'll talk about 5 I think are important, and that these habits are things that can move you from being an average person to being a high performer or being someone that's exceptional. Okay, so I call it 5 essential habits for high performers, for people who want to be, high performing. And maybe in it, we'll get some further details of the differences between exceptional and average. Now, number one habit is discipline, and maybe it's a good place to start because there is nobody that ends up being exceptional without discipline. Without discipline. Now, there's something that goes on around now. A lot of people focus more on motivation. Yeah. And there's, a lot of talk about discipline over motivation. And that's something that you need to understand because motivation is something that comes and goes, but discipline is something that helps build consistency. Yeah. I mean, today, there's a lot of emphasis on the feeling. I'm not feeling it. Oh, I'm not feeling it. This is not what I feel like. But sometimes it's not about feeling. There are people that continue to wait. When I feel like it, then I would. But if you're someone that wants to wait till you feel it before you act, you cannot be a high performer. So discipline is something where you would inconvenience yourself when you feel like it, when you do not feel like it, but you know that this is what, for example, you want to do a course. For you to be in this room and to succeed, it requires discipline. When you wake up in the morning, your body would not naturally want to, you know, get ready, take a shower, and all of that, and find yourself in a class like this. There are places you can be gisting, and trust me, those things are easier. It's easier to find yourself in a group of friends gisting than to find yourself in a classroom, you know. So that is where discipline comes in. You wake up, you make up your mind, and it's discipline that would separate people who will start from people who start but not finish from people who will start and finish. Yeah, so discipline is one of the first habits. You want to be exceptional, you have to be disciplined. And what does discipline mean, or what are some of the things you see? Like I've said, it's something that transcends feelings because if you only do things like when you feel like, then you would limit your potentials. But discipline helps you ensure that you are there whether you feel like it or you do not feel like it. Now, one of the enemies of discipline is the word convenience. And we like convenience in the world today. Is it not true? Not the way they call it soft life. You just want to live world soft life. Some people will say, I cannot come here to come and stress myself. But the truth really is, If for anything, and let's use athletes as examples, people who are into, performance sports. So you are an athlete, you are a runner, if you know how some of those people train, some people have, and the other thing to note is that people focus a lot on talent. Talent is important, but talent without discipline never leads people to a high performing status. You have talent, you can sing very well. And but all the musicians you see on TV, if you know how some of them burn hours in rehearsals, in the studio, in voice training, sometimes they control what they eat. There are certain things they do not eat because it affects their voice. That only comes when you have discipline. If it's an athlete, you think, you know, these footballers that we're always watching on TV, we like to watch footballers, we like to watch, the runners and the sprinters and all these athletes. You think when they wake up, oh boy, I don't feel like going to. No, it's not about feeling. They show up when it's not convenient. And that's why the first thing to note there, if you want to be a high performer, is forget about convenience. You have to learn to show up when it's not convenient. Check out people who have been successful in life. They will tell you their success stories. There were times they were faced with the enemy called convenience, and they were able to put aside convenience. If you're in school and you have to study and make good grades, you will put aside convenience, because there are times when your body is telling you sleep. If you do not sleep this sleep now, be like say you no go see tomorrow. You must sleep now. You have to tell your body nothing they happen. I will apportion time for you to rest, which is time to sleep. But discipline is what helps you put sleep aside, put other things aside, and ensure that you can do it consistency. Another thing with discipline is discipline doesn't focus on looking at doing things when people are watching. So if you are here, if your parents are there, yeah, okay. No. Discipline is also doing the work, doing what you need to do. It's something that gives what we call self-motivation. And the other one, which if I start talking about it today, we won't leave here, is distractions. Yeah, so if you want to be a high performer and you want to deal with the issue of discipline, you need to avoid distractions. There are too many things that distract you. So you need to focus on, for example, somebody who is an athlete and his target is I want to win a gold medal at the next Olympics. He has set a focus. That focus is one that he now needs high performance. He needs to move from average, because people who are average don't win gold medals at Olympics. So you have to have made up your mind that you want to move from average to exceptional, or to be a high performer, and you've set a target, to demonstrate that high performance. And that's, I want to win the Olympics. Or you're studying in the university, I want to make a first class. When you've set that kind of target, the next thing is to identify the things that help you achieve that target, and the things that work against you achieving that target. We call them distractions. Now, there's time for recreation, for relaxation, but it is planned. So you need to ensure that you avoid distractions. And one of the biggest distractions today is our mobile phones, it's social media. It's a big distraction. People spend hours and hours. The time that people spend looking through their phones, scrolling through social media and all of that, is the same time some other people are deploying to building apps. We have young boys that are less than 10 years old in China that are literally becoming multimillionaires in dollars, because they are already building apps. It's the same time. And the thing now, resources are no more a differentiator. The resources that can make you a millionaire are available to you free of charge. It's just whether or not you have the discipline and you're putting the time. It's no more about resources. Yeah, it's about discipline. And I've talked about your comfort zone, so beware of comfort zone addiction. So why I leave this first point on discipline, I think for everybody here, and it will be good for you to write this question down, write it down, and perhaps even the facilitators of this session can find a way to check back. It can be private, so I will not necessarily say that you show it to people. But one thing you will do for yourself is to identify one thing that you keep postponing, that you could change your life if you start to do it daily. It might be to take 30 minutes of your day to read a book. It might be that you're doing something in coding and you want to spend 30 minutes every day, just 30 minutes, 1 hour every day, but you have discipline to ensure that it happens every day. So you need to identify, and I would like every one of you to ask yourself this and write it. What is one thing that you are postponing? You've been saying, I will do it, I will do it, I will do it. Next week, you say next year. Me, I have my own. Oh. As I'm talking to you here, there are at least 2 or 3 things. January this year, I say I will do this year before end of quarter 1. A lot of things come up, you do some, but there are some. Me, I'm also dusting up mine because there are things I also still need to do that I've not been able to do. So that's habit number 1, which is discipline. But before I leave this, I'll give you a quote. And it says, discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want the most. Convenience will always ask for what you want now, but discipline helps you look into the future. So, do you really want to be exceptional? If you want to be exceptional, you need to be able to sacrifice now for tomorrow. And that's where a lot of people miss it. Now, 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 now. My body wants this now. I want to go and gist now. Make I just go play now. Person no fit kill himself. All those kind of things are things that rob you of being a high performer. So that's our habit number 1, discipline. And I'll move on to habit number 2. And habit number 2 is what I call a growth mindset. And this is also becoming a bigger challenge in the day we live in today. So there's what we call a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. You can be an expert, but not that an expert is a beginner or that refused to quit. Somebody that applied discipline, which we spoke about earlier. But the mindset is important because the first thing people defeat themselves is with mindset. You have to have a mindset that believes you can improve, you can be better. People give up before they try certain things. That's why some people don't even try this. And I'll give you a personal example. So I went for a job, not an interview, but a job. I made a job application. I went to write an aptitude test for a job many years ago. This was more than 15 years ago. And when I looked at the advert, it was for a reputable organization, a place a lot of people really want to work in. And when we got there, I met a old primary school or no secondary school mate. So when we got into the room, the guy was like, bros, where you don't date since? And we were almost maybe 500, 600 that came to write that exam. And we were told that they were actually going to take only one person. 500 people are writing exam. They want one person. And so the guy told me, bros, and you know one of the things he told me, he said, bros, say, we just came here to write these things. More like this, they gave us invitation to come and write this aptitude test. Let's just come write this test. But we all know that these people have decided who they want to take. Maybe it's their brother, it's their friend, or but maybe we should just write them. And when he was saying it to me, inside of me started entering me that, why did you come here with so much high hopes, like you want to actually be the one that will get this job? But I told myself, because what he said was beginning to affect me. But I told myself, no, I had prepared, I had prayed, I had put in everything me I know how to do, and I was confident that day that I would do well in that exam. But when he spoke to me, my mindset started changing. I quickly shook it off, focused again, and I wrote that test. And some weeks later, they said I was one of those that passed. Come and do interview. To cut a long story short, they took one person from that job, and I was the one person. Unfortunately, I have not been able to find that my friend again to say, bros, make I tell you, now me be the person where they reserve that job for. Because when we got there, he went there with a defeated mindset. Oh boy, let's join this thing. Why would they try himself? We know, say, and some of us have that mindset, and it's a fixed mindset. That's a fixed mindset that says, I beg, I don't like to be challenged. I cannot be better than this. The people already know what they want. We give up on opportunities in life. That's a fixed mindset. But a growth mindset is a mindset that believes that you can be better. So when challenges come, you are looking for the opportunity to take those challenges and convert them into potential. So you have to have a growth mindset, not a fixed mindset. One that believes that you can be better tomorrow, that you believe there are possibilities. And so when you have a growth mindset, it's easy for you to apply discipline. Because discipline is difficult if you have a fixed mindset. All this energy where person they put inside this thing self, waiting one come outside for inside. When you have that kind of mindset, you can't be disciplined. So a growth mindset is important. It's a mindset that sees possibility. It's a mindset, that believes that as I apply effort, I'm getting better, that is interested in learning. Some of you are here in Cedars. I'm sure some people will ask you, this Cedars where they go safe, this Cedars where they work out, they go there every day. But that you need to be aware of people that have a fixed mindset because they are the people who are always average. All these things, I beg, leave them. But people with a growth mindset are the people that will show up in places like this and make the best out of it. Okay, so you need to learn to embrace challenges instead of avoiding them. If you, for someone that has a growth mindset, you need to see the good side of difficult situations because you would have difficult and challenging situations. You need to learn from criticism, especially positive criticism. So, and then you need to replace negative self-talk. There's a lot of I can't do this, so from I can't do this, you go to there's something to learn in this. Some people here, you come here, now waka pass you they do for Cedars. Make we just see if anything go come outside. That's the kind of mindset. But that's not a growth mindset. You need to come to Cedars and say, what is here? These Cedars are the learnings. I can use this to change my life to become a high performer, an exceptional person. All right. So that's the other one. You need to have the habit of displaying a growth mindset if you want to have exceptional performance. And I'll go to number 3. And this one is a bit similar to discipline, but it brings another element to discipline, which is a brother to discipline, and that's consistency. There are people that can be disciplined, but they are not patient. So they are disciplined, they try something 2-3 days, yeah, in the same disciplined manner, they move from that, try another thing for another 2 days. They move from that one, try another thing for another. So they are disciplined, they are hardworking, they are not wasting their time, but they are not consistent. They don't know how to stay at something, give it time until results come out. And I like the quote here. It says, small daily actions is equal to big long-term results. And that's what consistency is. Something you should do for 30 minutes, you make sure it happens every day. Some people are hardworking. For example, some people know how to read when exam is coming. They will go for 2 weeks, lock themselves up. We used to have some of them in school then when I was in school. These guys will read. People cannot read like that. They will do, well, we used to call it TDB then till daybreak. They'll go and read overnight and come out. But the truth is they are not consistent. So the way they rather do it is throughout the term, they will play. But when it's time for exam, they will now rush and read. But I had a classmate then, and he ended up being the best graduating student in my class and in my faculty, with the first class. This guy, every day, he was an extremely consistent person. So some of us, me, I no go lie you, me, I was somewhere in between because I used to play during the towards exam, but I used to read small, so I wasn't very bad like some people. I'll be reading small, but I wasn't consistent. So maybe I'll go 2 weeks, laugh well. No, but maybe I'll read like, for 2 weeks I won't read. Then I'll remember that I've not revised my book. I'll go and bring it. I'll try and do small revision. I didn't used to wait till exams, so it's not like I'll wait till exam, then I'll do everything during exam. But I was not as consistent. This my friend, I learned so because there was a day the teacher gave us an impromptu test in class. It's as if after every day's work, he goes back and ensures he does first level reading. During exam, when people's BP is going high, this guy will just be relaxing, chilling, because he has built that approach of consistency in studying. So we need to learn, some people like to do big things once rather than doing things in small steps repeatedly. You need to don't be that person who wants to do crash course. Everything about you now crash course. You have 24 hours a day, you have 7 days a week, you have 52 weeks a year. But anything you want to achieve for the year is the last 2 weeks of the year. You will now be doing to make everything happen in one day. January has gone, February has gone, March has gone. We're in April. Just think about things that if you had started in January, every day you'd give it 30 minutes. You are learning 30 minutes. That consistency it builds a character trait in you that helps you be a high performer. Now, one of the problems people have with consistency is they put a lot of energy. Then, oh boy, I know if kill myself, then they quit. Or some other people, They like quick results. This thing, if after the first week the thing no dey yield, that's the end. But for people who will be high performers, you will find out that these are people that will continue to put effort continuously, continuously. Sometimes 3 months it has not yielded, they continue. Yeah. Set realistic goals, because if your goals are not realistic, if you wake up today and you set a goal that you want to be a programmer, and then you will develop a software in the next 2 weeks that will put Bill Gates out of, you will be frustrated, because you are not going to remove Bill Gates from the market in 2 weeks of software development. So if you have an unrealistic goal, because when you set a goal and the goal is unrealistic, if you don't achieve that goal, you become frustrated, and that frustration fights consistency. So set goals that are realistic. Put something that you can target and achieve and go after it. Then have a way of tracking your progress, because sometimes we track progress as 0 or 100. So it's either you're at 0 or you're at 100, but that's not the way. When you are traveling from, I know Nigeria used to be like that, but unfortunately, those things usually are not like that anymore. But let's say you are traveling from Port Harcourt to Anambra State, for example, and how many of you have traveled before? I don't know. Some of you were not born the time when we used to have proper milestones. So when you go, you see a stone on the road, by the side of the road, showing kilometer 200. And when you move again, you see kilometer 198, kilometer 195. We used to have that thing then. I don't know. I don't see it on the road anymore. So the government used to put those things so that if you're traveling from one state to the other, you can measure your progress. What that does for you is, even if you are going on a 2-hour journey and you know this journey is 150 kilometers, when you get to the point where you see kilometer 75 left, you know that I've made progress. Have you arrived at your destination? No. But you know that you've made progress. So you will not turn off your engine at kilometer 75, park your motor and say, nah, this ain't no go. I'm not sure say we go ever reach this place. We don't dey go. No, you can track your progress. You know you're going for 150 miles. So always have ways to track your progress, to see that you are improving. That's a way to help you stay consistent. You need to encourage yourself for the progress you're making, even if you have not arrived at your destination. Right. So focus on the process, not focus on the results. One thing with the world today and young people today, we want immediate result. Give it to me instanta, instanta. That's why anything if I tell you there's a way now to invest, crypto is fantastic. I'm not saying crypto is bad. But even people that do crypto investments and do it well and make, many of them know how to plan and make consistent progress. But you know where they used to catch people? They tell you bring 500K now. Tomorrow you could call 5 million. Nah. I'm sure half of you, once you see that kind of opportunity, you go and look for who to go and borrow. They say, I want to make 5 million tomorrow from 500K. Beware of results that you cannot test the process. It is process that gives birth to results. But many times we like result without understanding process. The fact that you can go to the market, buy a bottle of Coca-Cola, trust that when you open it and taste it, it has a consistent, predictable taste. The reason why you can be sure that Coca-Cola will not taste like bitter cola one day and tomorrow taste like Pami is because Coca-Cola has a process. It is process. And that's why if you go to the production line where they produce things, you will see a production line. Everything has stages. They don't go and meet people with the Coca-Cola. They don't use to jump step. Oh. If you've gone through a factory before, everything has step. First step is cleaning, washing, grinding, break. Even some of you that cook and cook well, it's process. The fact that you have all the ingredients you want to cook jollof rice, there's a process. You boil water first, then you put the rice in water, then you put tomato, you blend tomato. If you want to cook jollof rice, and the first thing you put is curry, maggi, and then maybe you have all these vegetables like green peas, sweet corn. If those are the first things you put before you put the rice, women can bear me witness, or any man that cooks there. All those your vegetables that you use to garnish your jollof rice, will you see it at the end? If you put it first, before the rice comes in, everything would have overcooked, melted, and dissolved, and the food will not come out well. Process is what gives rise to results. But let's not jump the gun, always chasing results without being interested in process. So 1 day of hard work is not the same thing as success, because you cannot sustain success by only 1 day of hard work. 100 days of putting in small effort actually leads to transformation, and transformation helps you to change sustainably. So that way you've been able to improve. It is not a fluke. And I give you an example. If I were to move somebody from the ground floor of a building to the top of the building, if I find a way to use something to just carry him, maybe I use a helicopter, for example, I just strap him on the helicopter and drop him on top of the building, and the helicopter flies away. The problem is, how does he come down? There's no way he can come down. But if that's why we create a staircase, it helps you go step by step consistently. You can go from the beginning to the top. Now, if somebody carries you down again, because you've planned through in a step by step manner, you can find your way back to the top again. But if you do things because you want to just do overnight, you do not build the ability to sustain progress. So I'll leave you with this formula as we move to the next habit. Small effort done every day and with patience that allows time passes through will give you big results. Sometimes some of us think that until you're able to do 20 hours study every day. No, look for that thing you need to do 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day, but do it every day. Then give it time. Don't expect result after 3 days. You say half an hour, the thing is not working. No, give it time. Give it time, give it a month, give it 2 months, give it three, and it will always give you big results. So that's habit number 3, consistency. I like this quote from Usain Bolt. He says he trained for 4 years to run 9 seconds. The gold medal that Usain Bolt won was 9 seconds. So, but a lot of people watch the 9 seconds of high around 100 meters in, is it 8 points, whatever seconds, and beat the world record. What you don't see is what happened behind the scenes for him to run that 9 seconds. It's just like when you go and write exam, sometimes that exam is just 1 hour, but it is the 1 year work that you've done that will determine the outcome in that 1 hour. Consistency is where high performers are developed. And if you train consistently, you will show up big time in your own 9 seconds. Everybody has his 9 seconds. It might be 1 hour. That is your opportunity, to demonstrate high performance, but it's how you've prepared for it. How many people followed or heard about the story of the guys that went to space recently? Does anybody know that some people recently went to space? These guys have been planning that space mission effectively for more than 20 something years to go to space, building the craft. And the team that just went to space have been together, those 4 people that entered that speaker, for the last 4 years, simulating everything. And these people did what you can literally consider the impossible. That's where consistency comes in. Okay, let's move because my time is almost up. So, number 4 is focus and time management. These are 2 habits, but I've put them together. And there are 2 big problems we have today. We have a lot of problem with focus in our world today. People cannot stay in one place and do one thing. They are everywhere. Today they tell you, bros, now crypto they rain. Before we know, you don't enter crypto. Tomorrow they say, but they are selling pure water by the side. That woman don't hammer from pure water. You don't enter pure water. Next day they say you are doing graphic design, but in the middle of it you are learning tailoring at the side. Ha, bah. Your life needs focus. I'm not saying you will do only one thing at a time, but you cannot do everything. Some of us, we change like chameleon. Before you finish talking to one person, you have entered one person. Some people today, waiting I want to now POS business, POS. Before they finish POS, you cannot be a high performer because they always tell you, jack of all trade, master of none. It's an old saying and it's still a very valid saying. So you need focus. But while you need focus, you need to manage your time effectively. And that's where time management comes in. And we've talked a bit about it, so I'll move fast here. Now, it says, where your attention goes, I like that saying, your life follows. I tell people, and it's a common saying, that time is the currency of life, which means, are you every day burning time is almost like burning money, because some people's limitation to making more money is the amount of time they have. If they have more time, because they are maximizing the time they have and utilizing it to make money. So we need to understand that where you give focus, you give your attention, and give your time, that's where your life. So if you waste time, you don't have focus, you're wasting your life. So high performers are people who don't have more time. It's just about how they use it. The truth is, whether Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, all the big people that have done incredible things, including these people that just went to space and came back, it's the same 24 hours in a day they have that you have. But how do they use their time? I'm not sure those guys going to space spend the last 2 weeks or last 2 years, even before going to space, gisting for five hours every day. No, they have a focus, and definitely they would have put their attention and their energy in the area of their focus. Now I've talked about distractions already. Social media, you don't have all the time. Get disciplined with your use of social media. If you need to catch up on your messages, catch up and tell yourself, I will spend 30 minutes or 15 minutes a day, check up on my messages, check what. But that one, you are just scrolling the picture of all those things that they are posting. People say, oh, I'm living the life here in California. Some of those things, now lie. They don't, but you use your own time. Then they say like, you be liking, like you don't know that the more you are liking, the more followers they are having, they are making more money. You are the engine that is putting money in their pocket. What are you doing for yourself? So be very careful with social media, chats, Instagram. Another area where we need to be careful is multitasking. I've talked about focus. Some of you are in this class now, you are doing 20 things at the same time. When you are doing those important things that make for your success, focus. Don't always multitask. You are in a class, somebody is explaining something. In the meantime, you are scrolling recipe for the pepper soup you want to cook next week, saying, is it the salt I will put before Maggie or Maggie before salt? You cannot, the brain is such that you deceive yourself sometimes when you're saying you're multitasking. I was speaking to somebody some days back, and while he was telling me something, I needed to really send an urgent message, and what he was telling me was important. But I told myself, I need to send this message. So while I was typing the message, I was listening deliberately. I didn't know, because your mind is actually not something that can process multiple things. At some point, for like 10 seconds, he was talking, but I wasn't hearing anything again because I was focusing on the message I was typing. That's when I realized that I have to stop this thing I'm typing, because what he was telling me is important. I say, let me hear. I had to listen. It's after I finished listening to him, and hey, I now understood what he was saying. I could go back to what. So be very careful with multitasking. And I said, and there's positive multitasking. There are times when you can multitask positively, but there are critical activities that make for your success in life that you cannot multitask on. Yeah, you can multitask. So when you have some recreation time and gisting with your friends, so you can be checking messages, speaking to a friend, but not that you are learning something or you're in school or you're something that will really, really help your life move forward. And that's when you want to multitask. Okay, so I've said, what do high performers do? They will prioritize what matters most. Time is like the way air, any space you create, air will fill it. That's the way activities will always fill time. You must prioritize. Even if you wake up and you're not doing anything, you will still be busy. Either you are busy, they're supposed to be busy doing nothing. So you need to prioritize what are the things that are most important so that you can give time to them and give focus to them. Then any time you have after that, you use for other things. That is what athletes do. They know the most important thing is their training regime. That's what is going to make them high performers. They don't joke with it. The time for training is not when they go and gist, but after they've done their training, they've hit their target for the day, then they give time to other things. So eliminate distractions, and ensure, yeah, that you ensure you have focus, when you're doing your critical work. So I'll just ask a few questions. What is your biggest distraction? Like we asked in the beginning, ask yourself, everybody has distractions. Some of your distractions is friends and gisting. Some of you, even for some of you, football can be a distraction. The people you are watching in Arsenal and Chelsea, some are collecting $2 million to play football every. You they watch the match pass the people where they play themselves. Now you they carry Arsenal loss on your. The man that lost the match, you are crying that Arsenal lost match. Do you know that the match that they lost, some of them they will still go away with $200,000, $100,000 with their loss, but now you cry past them. So You need to ensure that you know what your distraction is and take steps to reduce those distractions. All right, let's move to the last habit, and this is quick, and this one is what we call resilience. And there's also a word they use today, which is grit. We have too much ajebo in our younger generation, and I'll tell you people, like I said earlier, people who want soft life. Life will throw challenges at you. Resilience is what is the habit that helps you when challenges come. You know, say, I know say this thing not gonna work, you give up. You resilience means that if something hits you, you have a challenge, you pick yourself again, you go for it. They speak a lot about Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey really wanted to have a career in as a TV presenter. She went to go and work for a TV company. After a few weeks at work, her first job, they fired her and said she was not good enough to do the job. She bounced back with resilience and said, no, I can do this thing. And she went on until she formed her own TV show, Oprah Winfrey Show, and she became so successful that she became if I remember, the richest black woman in the world. I don't know if she's probably no longer, but at the time she was the richest black woman in the world. That is resilience. Resilience is knowing that things can go wrong, you can face challenges, but even if you face challenge, maybe you were preparing for an exam, you put all your effort, you wrote that exam, you did not pass. Resilience is I will go for it again. If I failed it the first time, this time I will go for it and I will go better. That's resilience. Life will try to knock you down. High performers are people who do not give up when life knocks them down. They get up again. Read the stories of successful people around you. You will find out that most of them had serious challenges, but they got up again. The truth about success is that failure is not the opposite of success, as we often believe. Failure is a part of success. People like Thomas Edison that invented the light bulb, we hear he tried and tried. I think it was his 100th attempt that he developed the light bulb. He had tried 99 times, it no work. What if he decided to stop at 98? 100, he made a breakthrough. That changed everything. Grit is one thing that you require. You need to be resilient. You need to be tough. Life does not have room for people who are interested only in soft life. I cannot come and stress myself. My life now soft life. There's nothing like that. Put in the effort, be resilient, and yeah, you will come out as a high performer. So these are just five, habits I've put together, for high performers. Before we close, maybe just in conclusion, this was a quote from Oprah Winfrey. She says, "Turn your wounds into wisdom." Yeah, turn your wounds into wisdom. And this is an example of her own story. She was wounded and she learned from it and bounced back. So, in conclusion, exceptional people or high performers are people that do ordinary things. Most of the things that high performers are doing is not about what they are doing, it's about how they do it. Usain Bolt is an exceptional runner. Bros, how many people they run for this world? A lot of people are running. Running is not special, but he did his own exceptionally. And then he stuck the high performer. And that's the same thing across every industry. Footballers. I mean, how many people have heard of a lady called Vicky James? Has anybody heard of Vicky James? Vicky James is a fashion designer in Lagos. She does wedding clothes. These days, Vicky James does clothes $25,000, $20,000. That's how much she charges. She's in Lagos, so not in abroad, but she charges in dollars. What does she do? Forget all the story with fashion design. Vicky James is a tailor. 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 How many tailors are there? So it's not about what you do. It's about how well you do it. So exceptional people are people who do ordinary things. Whatever you've decided to do, make up your mind that you want to do it extraordinarily well. Start small, stay consistent, track your progress, and also surround yourself with the right people so they will motivate you further. That's the end. I'll pause. I wanted it to be a bit more interactive, but maybe because of our time. But I would like some contributions, reflections. Maybe somebody wants to tell us what he learned, or if you have one or two questions, I'll pass it over to the moderator. And we can do that maybe for another 3, 4, or 5 minutes before we wrap up. So over to you. Are there any questions, or does anyone have a thought or a contribution, or something you really learned and you want to speak about?
Anyone? Questions?
Okay, so I see your hand up.
It's a good afternoon.
Yes, good
Um,
afternoon.
my question is from habits number to the growth mindset. Now, one of the points there was learn from criticism instead of taking it personally. Now, we all know that when we fail, or maybe there are some people that easily get discouraged when they don't do well at first. Now, what if you're in a situation where maybe you're in a workspace and you were given a task at that time, and maybe you didn't get it at first, and maybe your boss or the person in charge, instead of like the word criticism, like instead of maybe telling you what you didn't do well at that time, or maybe um trying to maybe
I think it's
do
trying to
better.
put you down. So
Yeah,
it's like the
put you
person is trying
down.
to put you down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like what do you do at that point? Because there are some people that are very good that like if you didn't do well at that time, they just look for words that will just maybe kill your self-esteem or maybe
Mm.
make you feel that you're a failure and you can't do it.
So you're right. And the truth is, that's one of the unfortunate things about life. Life does not promise you that everybody out there will be nice to you. It's great when we have good, and that's why it's also how who you surround yourself with. There are people who have bosses in the office or where they work who are not motivating them. But when they have those challenges there, they know that the first thing you need to realize is your life is not defined by what that singular individual says or does. We all need to understand that life is in phases. Yeah, there are things, some people, when you're working under them, they want to act like they own your life. But the truth is, tomorrow, not that everything is for a time. You can be working in a place today. First thing you first need to tell yourself is, this person is not the owner of my life. Because somebody is paying you salary, he wants to tell you you are stupid, you cannot do anything in this life. Is he the one who created you? So that is his opinion, and you need to be able to, you know, first surround yourself with the right people, encourage yourself. For those of you that read the Bible, there was a time David had a very, very challenging situation where his wives, his children, all his properties were taken away, when the enemies attack his camp. What did the Bible say? It said David encouraged himself. There are times you will face one kind of boss. You must learn to encourage yourself, but also surround yourself with people that encourage you. Imagine if you have a boss that tells you are stupid, is trying to criticize you and put you down. But because you have the right set of friends, from time to time you go into your circle of friends, and they'll tell you, Margaret, you are doing well, oh, you're doing well. That's at some point, all those things your boss is saying will not mean anything to you again. So you need to learn to, and it's part of resilience, but it's also part of a growth mindset. One individual does not define your life, and don't give that person the authority to define your life. I've had one or two difficult people I've had to work with, and what I make up my mind is whatever they say is their opinion. I respect them, I listen to them. After they finish talking, I nod my head. But when I leave that place, I tell myself what I believe about myself, what I know about myself, because I'm a kind of person that if you can get to me mentally and now get me to start thinking something about myself, you cripple my ability to do work physically. So first, I have to always have the right frame of mind because that's what gives me energy to then carry out the right set of actions. So what I would advise you is learn that not no singular individual defines your life. There's negative criticism, there's constructive criticism. For people who just want to put you down, surround yourself also with the right people. Believe in yourself, surround yourself with the right people, encourage yourself, and you'll find out that that person might be in your life for only 1 year and you move somewhere else. But if you allow that person define your life and damage it, when you move to the next place, that guy would have already made you feel so bad that everywhere you go, you believe you can't do anything good. Yeah, so indeed, you meet some of those people in life life, and sometimes you can't really control it, but continue to encourage yourself, continue to maintain a positive mindset, continue to work on yourself. The last thing I'll say is there are some bosses that are like that, and after a while, when this person that they've abused say you are a non-entity, because the person continues to improve himself or herself, one day they will find out that it's this person that they claim is a non-entity that is the savior of their business. In fact, some have come back to apologize and say, without you, I could not have done this. But if you allow what he's saying get into your head, then he truly starts to make you average, and from average to bad, from bad to poor. So don't allow it get to you. Know who you are and insist on being who you are. So I'll leave it there. See if there are any other comments. Okay, quickly, I think I'll take two more. So I see one hand. Yes. Yeah, go ahead. I see you with the white t-shirt.
So,
Yes, good afternoon.
about habits number two, growth mindset. Yeah, you said fixed mindset versus growth mindset. Your abilities are not fixed. You can improve with effort and learning. So here, I've seen someone that, he only knows a particular thing. Like, for example, he only knows how to weave a cloth, but he doesn't know how to sew. And he can do very well in weaving clothes. Is it that his mindset are fixed? Now, I want to bring it to myself. For example, I have this mindset that, okay, I'm coming to Cedars to learn front-end web development. And so I want to be the best. Like, I want to be a tech pro by coming here. Maybe after learning, so I want to do better. So can I say I have a fixed mindset for coming to Cedars instead of growth mindset?
Okay, so let me
Like,
No, I understand, and it's a very good question. So remember, I've put a balance here. I've talked about a fixed mindset and a growth mindset, but I've also spoken about focus. And you need to understand. So don't get me wrong. Growth mindset does not mean you are everywhere doing everything because you want to be. No. Now, everything starts out first with vision, and we talked a bit about that when we talked about the first point of discipline. First of all, maybe somebody like maybe use Usain Bolt again, who is a popular runner. Usain Bolt is a runner. He won't say, I want growth mindset, then tomorrow he's also playing football. Then this is growth mindset. So, yeah. But within the area that you've cast a vision for, I want to be the best developer, I want to be the within that specific area, there's always a lot of opportunity to learn new things. For example, if you're focus, and it's also possible to have two, three complementary areas of focus. I want to be somebody who is an excellent caterer, but I'll also be a good baker by the side. That's fine. But some people say, I want to bake only. So it's first your vision, it's first what you have set in terms of your objectives, but within that area, don't have a fixed mindset. A fixed mindset is, oh, I will only learn, things are changing. People are like, if you're a software developer, you can't wake up and say, I will only use one programming language. That's what I want to do. It won't work because as technology is changing, some programming languages, some tools, technologies are becoming obsolete. You can't make anything, out of them again. If the growth mindset helps you, believes I can continue to learn, I can continue to improve. I talked about Vicky James. Vicky James is a fashion designer. Tomorrow, she won't go and open bakery because she has growth mindset. She's settled to be a fashion designer, but within fashion designing, she's taking it higher every day, learning new things, expanding her knowledge, changing. So having a fixed mindset as growth mindset is not about doing many things and being all over the place, but it helps when you are focused to note that even within that area of your focus, you can't be stagnant. You have to continue to grow as a web developer, as a whatever it is, there's opportunity to continue to grow. If you have a fixed mindset, I've learned everything now, nothing there again, people will overtake you, you will become average. You can't be a high performer even in that particular area. So I don't know if I've tried to explain it, but it's not about doing many different things, but it's about ensuring that in that area, that chosen field, you are not stagnant. You continue to learn, you continue to improve, you continue to grow. Thank you. Okay, I have time for just one more, and that will be the last. Okay, let's take your. Yeah, I see your hand.
Yeah, so, so you said you talked about consistency, that how to stay consistent. So, and you have also made us some outline, say set realistic goals and then focus realistic goals, track your progress and then focus on progress. So in a situation whereby, if you're in a situation whereby you set a goal and then you're not able to meet up for the goal, does it mean that you're losing, like you're actually losing focus, or you're not like,
So
does it mean
there,
that
yeah, so no, if you set a goal and you do not meet the goal, remember we also talked about resilience. Resilience, sometimes it's not even that you didn't meet the goal. Sometimes everything fails. You need to start all over again. Maybe you're a developer and you took into a project to do a website. It's not just, there are two things. One is you were supposed to meet a target, or I'll finish this thing and submit it by 20th or 15th of April. Today is 15th of April, and you've not been able to do it. That's one challenge. But another one is you finished it, you submitted it to the people, they canceled the whole thing. This is rubbish. He said that's failure. But in both cases, you need resilience. Now, as long as the reason why you did not meet your goal was not because you were waking up in the morning, sipping tea, gisting with friends, not applying effort. If you put in your effort, you did what, and you did not meet your goal. Like I said, track your progress. First of all, tell yourself, I should have hit 100% completion today. I'm at 70%. I'm not at 0%. Encourage yourself, set a new goal, and say, okay, I couldn't meet this goal. I give myself a target of 2 weeks to complete it. Bring discipline again, bring consistency again, push for the next 2 weeks. Then you see if you can hit 100%. So the fact that you set a goal and you didn't meet the goal does not mean you're losing focus. But the important part is to also understand why you did not meet the goal. If why you did not meet the goal is because you were not giving it time, you say you will do something 30 minutes every day, you can miss one day, recover. But you now go 1 week, you didn't do it. You go 2 weeks, you didn't do it, and you didn't miss the goal. Set another goal, but now make a commitment this time that you've learned from what failed the last time. My problem last time was I was not consistent. Now choose and decide to be consistent, but always track progress. 80% progress when you plan to do 100% progress is not 0%. Encourage yourself for the 80% that you have achieved, because that's another problem people get into. They set very high target for themselves. When they don't meet it, they say, I'm worthless, I'm up to no good, I couldn't achieve my objective. You can't become a high performer if you don't understand how to use disappointments and failure as part of the building blocks to success. There's nobody that has been successful that just went, did it first time, and was successful. No failure, no challenge, no issue. You will be a very dangerous person because you won't have a realistic perspective to life. And the other challenge is that if you then continue to succeed that way and you are going higher and you have one small difficulty, such people find it very difficult to retrace their step back up. But people who have tried, failed, tried, failed, tried, failed, nothing you throw at them, they will come back again because they are used to bouncing back even when difficulties come. So, in a nutshell, for your response, I won't say it's automatic loss of focus when you miss a goal. Or if you've missed a goal, understand why you missed that goal, set a new goal, and then apply corrective actions. If it's okay, I need to be more consistent, I need to then track yourself, then celebrate your progress if you are making progress, even if you've not hit the final milestone. That celebration of the progress you've made will give you the energy to propel you to go for the final goal. Okay. All right. Thanks a lot. I think it's been good. Great questions, and I hope we found it useful, and I hope we've noted a few things that we'll take back and go and apply. I really hope that for everybody here, we are all aspiring, to be top performers, not to be people settling for average. Don't be like my old classmate I met who settled for average immediately. Say, this work, this interview we won't get. They don't choose the people already. Nobody. And guess the truth, when he had that mindset, I chose not to have that mindset, although I was not sure. But as God will have it, at the end of the day, at least in that particular case, I ended up a top performer because I got the job from everybody that interviewed for that job. Have that belief mindset. Believe you can do it. Set those goals, but don't get discouraged when they are not coming to pass. When they are not coming to pass, encourage yourself. Be consistent. Go for it again. Apply for this. Apply discipline, and indeed, you would have everything that it takes to be a high performer. Remember, being a high performer is not about what you do. It's about doing those ordinary things in an extraordinary manner. I wish you all the best as you continue your journey at Cedars, and I really like to come back and shake hands with some high performers in this team. So please do make us proud and go for it. We believe in you. You can do it. Thank you, and good afternoon.